Coming up on WFT's First at 5, the city of Hawthorne and Alachua County Public Schools are holding a joint meeting tonight. Why officials felt it was necessary to combine forces.
Plus, we're back in Levy County with an update on a potential sand mine that has the whole community talking.
And a new bookstore in Gainesville is pushing back on book bans in the state. First at 5 starts right now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
The debate of a proposed sand mine continues in Levy County. This is First at 5. I'm Chris Will.
And I'm Bailey Korinek. County commissioners voted unanimously to approve a special exception for the sand mine, which lies on designated rural, residential, and agricultural land. WUFT's Derrah joins us live in the studio to tell us about the unexpected legal turmoil caused by the proposal.
Multiple Levy County citizens are suing the county and the landowner over a potential sand mine, but the landowner says it's all just a big misunderstanding. The Levy County community is buzzing with concerns about air and water pollution, construction traffic, and increased noise, all a result of the approval of a sand mine.
And I love the land. I'm in agriculture. Without protecting the land, we have nothing. And I'm just trying to make it better.
That's the voice of Ryan Thomas, the landowner named in a lawsuit that was initiated by a group of people dubbed RURL, Residents United for Rural Levy. He didn't want to be seen. The lawsuit claims the county failed to protect their health, safety, and welfare. Layla Ware's property neighbors the lot where the mine would be constructed. She isn't fond of the idea.
We built a home. And so it's not like we can just pick up and leave.
The sand mine would take up 400 acres of Thomas's 1,100-acre property.
I pay taxes. And I have my right.
At this point, plans to construct the sand mine are on pause until Thomas completes the approval process for construction and the litigation process is resolved. The lawsuit asks a judge to send the sand mine application back to county commissioners to redo the approval process or deny the application entirely. The timeline of events is still uncertain. Live in the newsroom, I'm Derrah, WUFT News.
The Gainesville Commissioner is holding a virtual town hall to discuss the ongoing debate between RTS and UF. With the dispute still up in the air, residents will be able to share their thoughts on the proposed budget cuts starting tomorrow at 6 p.m. The cuts would result in the elimination of 11 bus routes, including 5 on the UF campus. District 3 Commissioner Casey Willits will also discuss the Vision Zero initiative, the strategy to eliminate traffic deaths in the city. The event is free, but registration is required through the city's website. And this Friday, University of Florida students will protest the proposed budget cuts to RTS at Tiger Hall from noon to 2 p.m. The protest will be led by UF organizations such as UF Democratic Socialists and of America and Change Party of UF. Organizers say the city estimates 8,000 more car rides a day will be needed to replace these bus trips. They say the cuts will also result in the loss of 52 RTS staff positions.
We're taking a live look now at Paynes Prairie. It is a bright and sunny day over I-75. There aren't many clouds in the sky and the cars are cruising on the highway. UF forecaster Julia Haley joins us now with the weather forecast. Julia, we're going to see clear skies for the next few days.
That's right, Bailey, and we're staying warm and dry, all due to this high pressure system. This high pressure system is going to keep us sunny for the next few days. Perfect weather to get outside. Take a look at our campus cam, the Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, currently 76 degrees, so feeling very much pleasant outside, especially as we are staying dry. Those temperatures are majority in the 70s right now. We have 78 for Cedar Key, and then all the way on the First Coast, we have 70 for St. Augustine, 76 for Ocala, and we're starting to drop throughout the evening. Once again, it's a perfect evening to go outside, go get some dinner as well, as these temperatures are staying pleasant and the sunshine is going to stay within our area. Look at that, temperatures dropping into the 60s. You do want to grab a jacket if you are going out late at night because those lows are going to drop into the 50s. We'll let you know how long these will last coming up.
City officials and county education leaders are addressing the needs of schools in Hawthorne. The joint meeting featuring the Alachua County School Board and Hawthorne City Commissioners starts at 6 p.m. Leaders will discuss accomplishments and areas of need for schools in Hawthorne at the Hawthorne City Hall. They will also provide an update on facilities and the district-wide future plan. Neighbors are encouraged to attend and provide input to the recommendations.
A new independent bookstore is gearing up for its grand opening this week, but the owner has a larger mission in mind. This comes after Gainesville residents read banned books outside City Hall yesterday. I had the opportunity to preview the space and talk to the owner, who said the links will focus on local authors as well as banned books in the state.
Giving back to Gainesville. That's what local author Lauren Groff aims to do.
Writing is the passion. I do it every single day, but I wanted to give something back to Gainesville, and we were really galvanized by the recent spate of book bannings in the state of Florida.
The key word is celebration. Her mission is to uplift LGBTQ+ and authors of color who've recently been impacted by book bans in Florida.
We want to celebrate as many voices as possible. We believe in freedom of expression. We believe that people should have the right to read the books that they want to read and to find themselves reflected in literature.
PEN America, an advocacy group fighting against the bans, reported that there's been over 4,000 instances of book bans in the first half of this school year. That's more than all of last school year as a whole.
It's incredibly important that we highlight and celebrate books by LGBTQI+ writers, by BIPOC writers, in order to allow people to make their own decisions.
Groff said the Links is here to push back and spread ideas. She said from young kids to college students, the goal is to put good books in the hands of Gainesville residents.
The Links will host several book clubs in May, including romance, banned books, and Florida literature. The grand opening is Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., where PEN America will also host a banned book panel at the store.
The fight over abortion rights makes its way to Florida. President Joe Biden traveled to Tampa today as the state's 6-week abortion ban is set to go into effect on May 1st. All that as voters in the state are gearing up for a ballot measure that could enshrine abortion rights in the state constitution. Biden going on the offensive against Donald Trump in states that the presumptive Republican nominee won 4 years ago, one of those states being Florida, where Biden lost by 3.3 percentage points to Trump. Advocates in the state are intent on making the issue as nonpartisan as possible as they work to gather at least 60% of support from voters for the ballot initiative.
Several lawmakers in Florida are under fire after an investigation by Fresh Take Florida found they might actually live outside the district they represent. Democratic Representative Bruce Hadley Antone has been elected 7 times to the state house, but according to official paperwork, his home address was outside District 41, where he was elected. The discovery is now raising questions about his eligibility to hold office. When questioned by a reporter, Antone changed his residential address the following day. He is now listed as living with a district aide on his legislative staff. This comes after previous reporting from Fresh Take Florida that found Republican Representative Michael David Brudondo from South Florida bought a condo 20 miles away from the district he was elected to represent. He was listed as leasing a unit in the district, but a letter from the Florida Division of Elections was marked return to sender. For more on the ongoing investigation, go to WUFT.org.
Florida lawmakers are taking a swing at getting high school sports coaches higher pay.
How they're kicking this goal into action when First at 5 returns.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
High school coaches are a fundamental part of an athlete's growth and development, but are often only given a low-end stipend for their work.
Florida legislators are working towards creating a bill that will look to raise their salaries. WUFT's Alexis Vivanco tells us how this bill could change the landscape of high school sports in Florida.
A proposed bill aims to help retain high school coaches here in Florida.
And every year there's a mass exodus to states, like Georgia and Alabama, because the coaches don't have to teach and their stipends are, 3 to 4 times the size of what they get down here in Florida.
Columbus High School head football coach Dave Dunn is happy to hear about a bill that the Florida Coaches Coalition believes will level the playing field for coaches seeking compensation.
You really saw them struggling. I came across coaches working 2 jobs. There were a few coaches that were working 3 jobs that just were coaching for the passion. And it just never sat right with me, even when I was a coach, about how little the pay was.
Chief Executive Officer of the Florida Coaches Coalition, Andrew Ramjeet, worked hand in hand with Palm Harbor Representative Adam Anderson on creating a bill they feel would increase high school coaches' pay to $15 per hour under certain conditions. Football head coaches working 1,500 hours would earn a $22,500 stipend. Baseball, basketball, soccer, softball, and volleyball head coaches that work 1,000 hours receive a $15,000 stipend.
We have not encountered a single high school coach that is against this. Public school, private school, they're all for this because they realize coaches need to be paid more.
Ramjeet and company hope to have this bill before the Senate by January 2025 and believe this bill could be a game changer. Alexis, Vivanco, WUFT News.
Opponents of the bill say that teacher pay should be the first priority when trying to secure salary raises in the school system.
The Alachua County Sheriff's Office is participating in a drug take-back day. This is an opportunity to return any expired or unused medications you may have in your house. That includes pet medicine too. Deputies are hosting 3 events this weekend. They will be in Gainesville on Friday and Sunday, and in the city of Alachua on Saturday. The process is completely anonymous.
Ocala's very own Master Chef Jr. is one of the final 5 chefs remaining on the competition cooking show. Michael Seagobin won last night's elimination challenge with his partner Jordan. We told you last week that Michael is the son of a Marion County fire lieutenant. Michael and Jordan had 15 minutes to cook as many perfect stacks of pancakes as they could. You can watch Michael compete for a spot in the final 4 on Monday night on Fox.
Sunny skies and highs are on the rise. We'll let you know when we'll reach the 80s on the other side of the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Sunny skies outside. It's a perfect day to go enjoy this nice spring weather. 76 degrees, and we have some southerly winds helping to keep us warm overall. We have this high pressure system. That's what's keeping us dry. As you can see, not too much really going on the radar. This is the dry pocket that we're currently in, and it's going to continue to stay throughout this evening and into tomorrow. And take a look at those winds. We have 11 miles per hour in St. Augustine, 15 in Palatka, but they're coming from the east around I-95, and that's where we have those cooler temperatures, especially around the First Coast. 70 for St. Augustine and 77 for Cedar Key, and we're going to continue to stay warm. We're actually warming up due to this high pressure system. 5 for Gainesville and a 4 increase in Ocala, so 4 degrees, but still continuing to warm up and continue that rise. Florida versus Stetson tonight, going to be a great day to get out for that game. Sunny around first pitch, and the weather is just a home run, so definitely get out and enjoy while you can. There's going to be a light breeze as well. Wednesday morning sitting in the 50s. Those 50s are going to continue, and this week we are bringing on the heat, especially due to this high pressure system. You can see for our hour by hour tomorrow, those temperatures are rising into the 80s, so we're on that rise as that high pressure system leaves our area, and we have a cold front that's going to push through, bringing some showers mostly north of I-10, leaving us dry here in Gainesville. Take a look at that 7-day. We are rising into the upper 80s by Friday. Sunny skies overall, and we're going to continue that stretch of dry weather here in Gainesville, not only through this week, but even into next week. We have those clouds building up around Tuesday, but staying sunny overall. It's a perfect day and perfect week to get outside.
It's another Tuesday afternoon, which can only mean one thing. It's time for the Gators baseball team to take to the diamond. WUFT is live at Condren Ballpark as Florida prepares to host the Stetson Hatters this evening. We'll have more on what to expect in tonight's matchup after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
I'm Jack Meyer, here with your Tuesday afternoon roundup in the wide world of sports. Let's get right into it with some action on the diamond as the Florida Gators baseball team prepares for a midweek showdown with the Stetson Hatters this evening. WUFT's Jesse Simmons is live at Condren Ballpark with more on what to expect from both squads in tonight's matchup.
We're back at Condren Family Ballpark as the Florida Gators host the Stetson Hatters in a midweek matchup. The Gators are riding a 6-game home winning streak against the Hatters, stretching back as far as 2009. However, that's not telling the whole story, as Florida is looking for revenge tonight after dropping the first game to Stetson 7-4 earlier in the season in DeLand. The Gators sit at 20-19 on the season and have been slowly slipping down the rankings, while Stetson is sitting pretty at 26-14 and looking to make some noise in the ASUN Conference. Lefty Cade Fisher gets the start on the bump tonight for the Orange and Blue, and he holds a 2-2 record and a 6.75 ERA. At the plate, Florida needs a strike early, led by two-way star Jack Caglione, coming off a weekend where he tied the NCAA record for 9 consecutive games with a homer. We're just a few minutes away from first pitch here at 6:30 p.m. I'm Jesse Simmons, WUFT News.
Appreciate it, Jesse. Heading down the street from Condren Ballpark, the Gators softball team is gearing up for an in-state showdown of their own against the Florida State Seminoles tomorrow evening. Florida is coming off a back-and-forth series with the South Carolina Gamecocks this past weekend. After splitting the first 2 games, the Gators secured the series win in a narrow 7-6 win on Sunday afternoon. But despite the series victory, Florida dropped 1 spot to number 10 in USA Softball's latest Division I rankings. The Gators will now turn their attention to a Seminole squad that has won 10 games in a row and is currently ranked 18th in the country. First pitch in tomorrow's matchup is set for 6 p.m. at KDC Scholl-Presley Stadium. Now, from Becky Burleigh to Abby Wambach, the University of Florida soccer team has long been regarded as a historic hub for the sport of soccer across the nation. WUFT's Rafael de los Santos tells us about a player whose effect on the game has extended beyond the touchline.
The Dominican Republic is widely regarded for producing some of the best baseball players in history, and historically, baseball has been the sport to follow in the country. Gators goalkeeper Paloma Peña is part of a historic Dominican national team that has planted the seed of soccer in the land of baseball.
Student, person, player. Somehow, the words on Paloma Peña's back failed to encapsulate her. In Gainesville, she is one of 4 Florida Gators goalkeepers preparing for another soccer season in the fall. But 1,000 miles away, on an island 3 times smaller than the state of Florida, Paloma Peña is so much more. Although she wasn't born in the DR, she forms part of the first women's team in the island's history to qualify for a major tournament, doing so in the first ever Women's Gold Cup.
Being a part of that history meant so much, and I know it meant so much to the country.
Under the world spotlight, Peña began to receive criticism due to her American nationality.
If I would have interviews before a practice or something, and I would look at the comments, they're like, this girl isn't even from DR, she shouldn't be representing.
Despite the critics, Peña remained steadfast in her Dominican heritage, given to her by her father.
I have pride for the country, and I want to play for the country and make the team better, so I feel like that's what people should focus on.
The tournament held more significance than just wins and losses for Peña and the Dominican Republic. On an island where baseball seems to flourish under the tall shade of cocoa trees, the seed of women's soccer was planted on the world stage.
Little boys, little girls, they cry when they see me. It gets me kind of emotional because I'm like, I never thought that I could be this person to these kids.
For Peña, the Gold Cup is just the beginning for women's soccer on the island.
I feel like I can bring the country up, not only in the sport, but I also want to be able to show the other little girls and the women in the country that we can do this.
For now, Paloma Peña continues to prepare for the season ahead with the Gators, remembering that 1,000 miles away, 11 million Dominicans are cheering her on. In the newsroom, Rafael de los Santos, WUFT News.
And finally, wrapping things up on the ice, the Florida Panthers will play host to the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight in Game 2 of the NHL Eastern Conference quarterfinals. Things got chippy between the two Sunshine State squads in Game 1, but Florida eventually came away with a physical 3-2 win. The Panthers will look to go up 2-0 in the series tonight. Definitely going to be one to watch, I'll tell you that much.
I would be remiss if I did not give one final Go Bolts from up here in Gainesville.
And I would be remiss if I didn't come right back at you with a Go Cats of my own.
Right.
And this is one of those things that I'm going to miss as we kind of wrap up our Tuesday show, some of our final shows here on First at 5. I want to give a special thank you to the WFT team. Could not have asked for a better group to close out my time here in Gainesville. And a special shout out to our senior producer, Mariana, for her last show here. We don't look as good on this desk without you, Gracie, and the entire crew up in the booth. So thank you guys.
The crew really is the best. And thank you for letting us tell your stories. And thank you for letting me forecast your weather for the past 4 years. It is an honor to serve the Gainesville community, keeping you safe in all kinds of weather. Before we go, I'll give you one final check on the weather. The Sunshine State is living up to its nickname, Sunshine, for the rest of the week, and those temperatures are rising even into the upper 80s by Friday. Perfect week to go outside and really enjoy what North Central Florida has to offer.
Thanks for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WFT.org and all of our social media platforms. Have a great night.